on now. This is Seay and Matt Bischoff, and we are Riff Killers Podcast.
Arthur, I am totally stoked today. One of your good friends.
Yeah, come on now.
I've seen Cold Chamber, dude, perform live. Been a long-time fan, and you have a history with this person.
Absolutely. Nadja is an amazing friend. I've known her for a long time. I met her way back in the day, Slipknot through Paul Gray. She's always been a really good friend, good people. You know what I mean? Like in this industry, you know, you're hot and people are your friends, and then you're not, and then they're not your friends anymore. We've always stayed close, whether we talk a lot or a little. She's good people and she's amazing. She has great energy, and I'm very stoked and proud to have her on Riff Killers Podcast. Here we are. Come on now.
What is
Live. Well, it's not live. This is on YouTube, but
Look, I brought some Halloween spirit, even though it's not Halloween.
oh,
But
turn it on. There you go. There you go. Anyway, people, this is what are we? Riff Killers with Matt Bischoff and Arthur Seay.
That is correct. And Nadja, so you gave your Halloween thing. A lot of people make fun of me because I love Halloween. I love Halloween decorations. And I am sore as fuck right now because I was on my ladder and getting out lights. We have a whole Halloween display.
We better release this episode before Halloween then.
We are inside and out.
Who cares?
And yeah, I'm a big fan of decorations.
Dude, I used to go all out on Halloween, and my place was always kind of whatever. And I said, fuck all that shit. I tore all that shit out. I kept a couple of cool things, and that's it. I did it for like, I don't know, too long. My place was fucking
I figured
haunted mansion.
all,
Now I'm very
all year
particular
long.
about the skulls that I put up, mostly just the ones I paint. But yeah, anyway.
Is
So,
it
Nadja,
cool?
thanks for coming on, man. It's been a minute. I mean, I talked to you, but it's been a minute.
I know. Too
What do
long.
you got going on? How you dealing? How you coping? I'm sure COVID will still be
fine.
going on by the time this gets released.
Yeah, at the rate we're going, probably. I mean, fuck, man, it just needs to end. This is so stupid.
It's I guess that's always going to be a little bit of a quick topic, not to go too long because there's so much COVID bullshit and we're all kind of over it. I mean, I get it, it's real and it's happening. Is it is crazy and deadly? I mean, some people are going to die. They're going to die. Some people are going to get sick. I've known like 15, 20 people. All I've said it before, varying degrees. One person was like 3 days they were fine. Next person was like, okay, they had a bad flu, wasn't too bad. Next person was brutal for like 2 months, and then yes, people have died. But it's like, what can you do? You gonna hide from it forever, and we're all gonna go broke and
can't hide.
homeless?
No,
You can't fucking hide.
It's a
People that are gonna
virus.
die are the people that are gonna die, and that's it. And that's the Earth saying, "Fuck you, people. You're the virus on this planet. We're gonna thin you out a little bit." Or that's my view anyway. Call me crazy.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think you're
Well,
crazy.
we'll see how many hate comments I get, or how I'm an idiot. Whatever.
You can't see that live, right? They hate comments. Could we see? No.
No,
it's
because
not
we're gonna
live.
post this later if we need to edit and all that. But we can do like an update to the like. Oh, some of the comments
Yeah, I'd like.
from
I'd like
all
to
you
see the
fucking
haters.
Oh, yeah.
keyboard ninjas. Anyway, well, are you surviving or like what are you doing? Are you
Yeah.
still working?
No, I'm not
Yeah.
working. I'm just like sitting around, you know, like when it first hit, I was like, okay, cool, 2 weeks. I can organize all my shit.
Did
That's
it
what I
make
did.
you realize how burnout you probably were? Because it made me realize how burnout I fucking really was. And I was
No.
like, fuck yes, I need this break. This is great. I love it. No? Oh,
No,
good for you
but-
then.
no,
'Cause I was burnt out.
I've been like Listen, I've been home for 5 years from the last tour that we did. So I've been
Yeah.
resting for 5 years. So I'm not burned out. I'm like, this is my comeback year. I was like ready to go.
Dude, I was like the
Yeah.
same thing. I had all the things lined up, all the things done, ready to go. This is gonna be the yeah, like the new HOBP and this and that, and just like, man, you know what? But still, like, it gives me the time to get all those things done. Have you been doing a lot of music, your own projects or whatnot? I know I've been like using as much as possible the time to get things ready to go, so when it does open up, like I can just bam, 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 go be back to what I need to do. Is melt
Yeah.
faces and stuff.
No, in the beginning, I was, all organizing, and finally, I get to throw away all the shit that I needed to get rid of for
everybody
years,
did, yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And then after like 2-3 weeks, when it turned into like it's another month or whatever, it kind of started hitting me, and I'm like, wow, we're just not going to get out of this. It's just they're going to keep tagging on and tagging on. It's just like dangling the carrot. We're going to open up something, and now we're going to take it back.
Yeah, it's crazy too, where like people don't remember or learn, or like this happens like every 100 years pretty much. There's something that fucks up the world. I mean, this one, I don't know, man. At first I was like, oh yeah, now I'm like, it's not that bad. And actually it's not. Did the Spanish flu killed millions and great, it's like you even looked at that when it started. Like I already knew that. I'm like, okay, I'm that doomsday prepper. Like this was my exact like scenario. It's gonna be some virus, fucks everything up. It's all gonna go to hell. It's gonna cripple the economy, dude. It's like all spot on. But where the fuck was I?
Well, all I know, like you're just saying, like every 100 years some bad shit happens.
Yes. So when it happened, like I knew it's gonna be 2 years at least. I already knew from the day one when they started certain shit. I'm like, it's gonna be 2 years because that's just how it is. You know what I mean?
So you guys think as musicians, as far as touring goes, because we've talked about this before, Artie and I, you got these drive-in shows, you got these live streams that Clutch and Down and a bunch of metal bands are starting to do. When do you guys, or Nadja, when do you think touring to where I can go see Coal Chamber play or whatever band is going to happen? I mean, we can't predict the future, but what is your best estimation?
Well, Coal Chamber might be a long time. You might have to wait for longer than the virus to end. Who knows?
Normal just touring bands.
Yeah, just touring in general.
I don't know. I mean, I know some bands are booked for like January already. I think that's probably not going to happen. Then there's tours going out in April, May. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, apparently we're going to have a vaccine.
Oh, next year? I think next year is going to be a wash too, man. I really do. It's going to be more. It's going to be. I hope not too. But I think it's going to be more of the drive-in stuff, which I don't know. I'm not really into that. Are you into the drive-in thing?
I'm not into the drive-in. I'm not into the Zoom. I'm not into social distancing. I'm not into any of it. It's just, I mean,
has it affected you, Nadja? Like, has it emotionally taken a toll on you? You know what I mean?
Shut up. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it has actually. I mean, I've had a couple of moments where I had some bad anxiety. And then I've been like angry too, because to me, this is not the Spanish flu. I mean, obviously the virus exists. I have people that, were sick, that even were in the hospital. I don't know anybody personally that died, but I do know people that had the virus. And so I'm not saying I don't believe in the virus, but if this was the Spanish flu, then all the thousands of people that we have in especially Los Angeles or in California that are homeless, they would be dropped dead on the street.
75,000, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. I mean, they're right outside of my door.
It's insane. It's like it is like super.
You're saying there's 75. You're saying there's 75,000 homeless people in Southern California.
No, in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles
city, in the city, not the Los Angeles County, Los Angeles. Like we were just talking about this on the phone, setting up this, and like I've lived in LA off and on, but I always used to go and hang out in LA. Got a lot of friends in LA. Nadja, I would always go, and I like to visit it and have fun and get the fuck out. But like where I used to always hang out, or like this is my little favorite pawn shop right there on Vine. It's like this Russian guy.
Yeah, that's close.
He was super cool. Yeah, he was super cool, and they always had rad shit because there's always somebody fucking pawning their shit. But it always be something really good, vintage, whatever. cabinets, guitars, pedals, whatever. Dude, I got a mixer in there. It was just rad. Anyway, he had this whole like 2 glass cases of like Nazi memorabilia. Like he wasn't selling it, and you can legally have it. He just had it on display, dude. And it was like everything. Like he was this crazy Russian guy. He was like, oh yeah, I used to do the black market of this and like trade and do and like he would like sell a whole colonel's uniforms to be like 3 different uniforms, like his whole set for like 30-40 grand and shit. And there's this whole market that people buy and sell that shit. But he stopped doing that. Anyway, pretty crazy. But anyway, that street was always, it's Vine. It's a little whatever, but nothing crazy. And then we're talking. I watched. Who's that? What was that lady that would post that video?
Her name is Joy Villa.
Joy Villa. She's walking down Vine. Goodwill right there. Yeah. And it's just insane. Just tent people, shit everywhere. Arguing, like insane. It didn't used to be. It was just empty. I mean, it'd be the homeless people walking around, but not crazy. But now it's like they moved in. It's like a fucking. The whole street is, boxes and tents and garbage and fucking like insane. Like whoa.
Yeah. But it's like almost every corner in Hollywood is that way.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Yeah. But it wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't like that.
Hollywood's always been crazy.
Yeah,
but not like that.
I hate to say it, but we don't have a great mayor and we don't have a great governor, and so it's just out of control. I mean, I've lived in Hollywood for 26 years. There's always been the random homeless person here and there,
Yeah.
But I mean, now it's like Skid Row.
There's a city
Hollywood.
Outside. Yeah. Vine wasn't Skid Row. It looked like Skid Row.
Yeah. It's out of
Crazy.
control. It's getting more and more, and they keep saying we're building these, places for the homeless. Well, they haven't done shit.
They don't want that.
But is it because like people migrate there because it's a nice climate pretty much all year, and you can be homeless? Because I would not want to be homeless where I live in Ohio. Because here in about 2 months,
absolutely that's a factor. But I think it's just so much fucking drugs, dude. Because we're not talking. There's the homeless person they're down in their luck, lost their job, whatever, and shitty things happened. We're talking just like hardcore, fucked up, methed out, or whatever, fucking, and mentally ill. Sorry, yeah, that sucks. But what do you do? People. A lot of mentally ill, but what do? You're gonna just put them in some crazy home and lock them up? Like what the fuck? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and I feel bad, I mean, at this point, like I know a few of the homeless people that live in my area.
Yeah.
Talking to them, I know them by name, and
yeah,
and one girl, she has kind of schizophrenia, and she freaks out. She's always nice to me, and she's like, if I ever freak out, don't listen to me, walk away, don't take it personal. I'm like, you've always been nice to me, but
yeah, see shit like that. It's like.
It's sad because honestly, in 2020,
because there's
all this crazy and all this crazy shit is making people crazier.
Yeah,
because you're trying to find answers. I mean, I've seen so many stories of this person was sober for years and they relapsed, or the divorce rate, the suicide rate. I just had I come from a BMX bike background, and I just had a buddy last week commit suicide. Which is terrible. And I just think that a lot of people are having a really tough time dealing with the craziness that we're going through. And I hope at some point it goes back to normal.
I'll interject real quick. This was even way before COVID started too, though.
Yeah.
Like how long has it been crazy like that? No, just where it's like insanely rampant. You know what I mean? It's the last, like 5 years it got really crazy?
Yeah.
Nadia? Yeah, like in the last 5 years, it got like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I would even say
Matt,
the
go
last
ahead.
10 years.
No.
I would even say the last 10 years, but it got worse in the last 5,
Yeah, like noticeably. Like we played the last gig I think I did was we did Lucky Strike. And dude, I used to live on that street, Highland. That's always been, I had a friend lived there. I'd always stay with them and hang out. Anyway, that street was, normal. I'm sure there'd be random homeless guy walking around or something once in a while. It's right off Hollywood Boulevard, but we played Lucky Strike, and I go up that street, park in that lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my secret spot's all easy. I walk back, and
not
dude,
so
just
secret
doing that.
Anymore.
I know. Hopefully, people don't know.
Hey, Lucky Strike is not open. No bars are open.
Yeah. But dude, the whole way there and back was like, are you kidding me? Like, just like your street. Insane. There's even like, when you go up Highland and you turn right to Franklin or whatever,
Yeah.
there's that little island. There's a little island with like the light on
Yeah.
it. Just a little island. Dude, there's a guy posted up like that was his island. He had his tent, this and that. I walked up.
Like on the corner of like an intersection.
Not even a corner,
yeah.
dude. It's the island because you can go right to turn right, like kind of like a yield, but you can go right or you can go straight. And then that same street was going right. So it was just like this little triangle island, like right in the fucking like crazy. And he's got his tent.
Well, they have it under the bridges too. If you go
Oh,
up
absolutely.
on Gower,
It
it's
was
on
just so
both sides,
weird.
and there's also that island in the middle. And
It was just
it's
so
same
weird. He
thing.
was on this little island. Then I'm walking back after the gig, and he's out there like tweaked out of his fucking mind. This like homie dude, and he's like playing fucking hockey with a fucking beer can, and he's shooting it in the fucking cup. But he's just fucking, tweaked out of his fucking mind. And then there was this guy by 7-Eleven right there, and it was like Linus. There's just like something exploded around him. There's just shit trash all around him, and he's sitting there taking apart a laptop. Like, I mean, taking it apart piece by tiny screw piece, every little
That's definitely
piece.
a tweaker.
Disassembly. Yeah, he's stripping balls. I'm like, holy shit. And I did some shit and went
It's
back
a
to my car.
project.
Went back to my car like an hour later, maybe. And like, he's gone. And everything's gone. It's all clean right there. Like, he's gone. Everything's gone. Like, because, dude, it was insane. But he was over here now, like in the parking lot in a different spot. Same shit. Like something blew up around him, just fucking shit and trash, and he's fucking still tripping on that laptop. It's so insane.
It's sad.
Yeah,
and
it's
hopefully
crazy.
there's a light at the end of this tunnel, but
There's not. There's not.
No.
There's
If-
not.
if-
There's
if
nothing
maybe-
you can do. You can
if
build
you get
a
a new
billion
mayor.
fucking house. Sure.
If we can get a new mayor,
You
that
can
might be a
build
light at the end of the tunnel.
a million homes and stick them in there. Like, they don't want to be in there. Like, some of them, yes, would appreciate that. But some, they're just going to walk out the door and go back to what they were doing. Like, you know what I mean?
So Nadia, is it scary like where you live? Like, are you in like a safe? Are you in like a safe? Are
Is
you
it
in, like,
scary where you live? She's woman walking home alone.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
They're all
I've been
scared of
walking the
her.
streets of Hollywood for 26 years.
Yeah.
Arthur, that's going to remind you of something when I went to that cult show.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. Should we tell that story? We'll tell that story later. That's
yeah,
a good one.
That was so good. So, yeah, I've been, walking around in Hollywood for literally 26 years, and I've never been worried, because you can
Yeah.
kind of tell, like, this is a street that's kind of funky. You might want to,
Yeah.
like, take the other one, that one. And, I grew up in a bad neighborhood, even in Europe. So I kind of have that streetwise thing going for me. So I'm not really.
Head on a swivel.
Huh?
Head
What?
on a swivel.
Yeah.
Head on a swivel. You're
Yeah.
aware of your surroundings.
Exactly. So I'm
You
not
don't look
too
like
worried
you're
about
gonna.
it.
You're a target.
So you grew
Yeah.
up in Europe. So you're from Germany, correct?
I'm from Germany. I grew up in Holland.
And then what brought you over to the United States? Was it because of
Heavy
music?
metal.
What brought me over? Well, I've always been intrigued by the US, even since I was a kid.
Mhm.
And I was into rock bands and metal bands. And I always wanted to come here and visit.
Who's your favorite American metal band at that time?
At the time, I mean, God.
What year are we talking? Like
I moved here in 94.
94. So it's the 90s, which is the prime
So you're
spot
like
of music.
Pantera.
I would go back to the 90s. Is there like a time machine?
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I had some good
2020,
times.
Get it. 2020, we should have a time machine built by now. There's one out there. I just want to beam back.
Well,
Fuck
you know
yeah.
what? We lost like what 1,000 years of technology because of what was it? I forget now. Whatever religious battle that the Dark
It's
Ages.
fine. No more technology. I'm sick of this shit.
The Crusades. I don't know. We
Social
lost
media.
1,000 years of technology. Like we'd already be like shooting down fucking black holes, getting to the next.
Fuck yeah.
You know.
Totally. So I wish we had a time machine back to the 90s. So it's the 90s. It's 1994. You come over here
Yeah.
because of your love of music. Are you
Well-
following the dream of becoming in a band? Like, explain your mindset.
Well, I mean, so I was always I always wanted to come here. I was into whatever, Fate No More, Soundgarden, all those bands from the 90s. And, I didn't grow up with any money. So we didn't have any money. So coming to America didn't really look like that was going to happen anytime soon. Yeah. Woo. However, as luck was on our side, my mom ended up winning a car in the lottery. And so
Over
then
there in Europe?
over there in Europe, yeah.
Nice.
So she
And
played
they
the
sold it.
lottery. And you know how you play the lottery and you always like throw the tickets away because you think you're never going to win. And that's like kind of what we did.
I just found some
away.
from like last November. I'm like, fuck. What if I
You
won
could've been a
$700
millionaire.
million? What if that was the winning ticket? I'm like, God damn.
Right? No, but so she won a car, and I think she got like 10 or 15 grand for it. And for us, it was like, oh my God, we're rich.
Hey, that's
you
like,
know?
that's, yeah.
And
Especially in 94.
but then the problem is she got the letter like we wanted, and then we had to find the damn ticket, you know? And in Europe, we had like a basement. So we had all these bags full of trash, you know? And you know that lottery ticket was in there. So we had to go down in the basement and take up all the trash.
Shit, throwing it away?
Yeah.
Shit, throwing it away.
Yeah, and we're like, oh my God, where's that ticket? So like dumpster diving in the basement, you know?
Holy
wow.
shit.
That's insane that you found it. That's fucking insane.
We found it and we're like, oh, what are we going to do? She goes, what are we going to do with all that money? I'm like, can we go to America?
So goes, like move to America though?
No, first I came to visit. I came to visit
cool.
2-3 times. And so I came to visit in like 92, 93, you know, and then moved here in 94.
I like the story better if you took the money and you just moved right then. But no, your story's good too.
It didn't take long though. I fell in love right away. I mean, I landed in LA and I was in love.
Now you're like, fuck America.
So was LA, so you live in Europe and you have this vision of what LA is going to be like in real life. So were you disappointed or were you like overly like, oh my God, this is everything that I thought it would be and more?
At first I was disappointed. I gotta be honest. You know, we had a Dutch friend. We had a Dutch friend that moved here. So the reason why we chose LA instead of New York was because we had a friend. So we were like, cool, we're gonna go visit our friend Maria, right? So that was our thing here. So I gotta move this a little bit because I hear myself funny. But anyway, so we got here and everybody in Europe tells you how scary the US is. You know, people are shooting on the streets. They make it seem like it's a Western movie, you know? So now it's me and my mom. I'm a teenager, you know, she's 40. And we're like at the airport at LAX and we're like, oh my God, are they going to shoot us? Like, what would you just
do? That's crazy.
And so, you know how you used to have those hustlers at the LAX, like the people that would pretend they were like deaf mute? You know, and they would just go around and they'd like give you like little notes of like, hi, I'm a deaf mute, blah, 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 asking for money.
Yeah.
And because our English wasn't so good, you know, we thought it said, hi, I'm a thief. Give me your money, you know. And we were like, really freaked out. We were like, oh my God, he said he was a thief, you know.
Hey, well, that's good. So you don't have to give him any money. Get the fuck out and be like, no, thank you.
Yeah. And we're like, we don't have that much money. But
there's so many of those, man. It's crazy.
So we got into the cab. And then the next thing was we sat into the shuttle. So we were amongst other people. And the cab driver, he was, you know, kind of bigger and, you know, the cab was smelling funny, you know, and we were like, oh my God, like this guy, like really bad BO, you know, we were like dying, like what the fuck. But it turned out it was a skunk outside because you know how many skunks we have in LA, but we thought it was just BO, but it's a skunk. And and then we were here and our friend took us to Hollywood Boulevard, which is as you do when you come to Hollywood.
Totally.
We were so disappointed.
I still love hanging out on Hollywood Boulevard.
Did you see any bands those first 3 times that you came to visit before you decided to move? Were you checking out all the clubs at the time?
Well, I was under 18, so I couldn't really, but then somehow I did, and I had a fake ID, and you know.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because the only place that would let me
hot. They're like, come on in.
But yeah, so then the only place that would let me in was the Rainbow at the time, you know, and that was weird for me because in Europe, I started going out when essentially I started going out with my mom when I was 12. And then I started going out by myself.
It's a whole different culture,
14.
man. Like they drink wine. It's just part of life. It's like you have some, like, you know, Italians or whatever. Like that's what you do. You have your food and you drink a little wine. Yeah. That's not, you know.
Yeah. And then you go
moderation, of course.
I started going out. And in Europe, you don't go out like in LA, like 9, 10 o'clock. Like you don't go out before midnight. Midnight, you start 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe
dinner's at 10 p.m. in like Italy. And shit. And they take that nap, then they come back. Dinner's like at 10. And then they go
so for me, having to wait till I was 18 and actually 21, I was like, what do you mean? I've been going out since I was 14. You know? And then, and then Rainbow would let me in, at the time. And that was weird because I was used to like clubs and like the whole like goth clubs and everything. And then you had the Rainbow and it's like, dudes coming up to you going like, hey, do you have a brush in your purse or some makeup? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't bring a brush. I don't bring makeup to the club, I mean, now I do, but at 18. I didn't
so were you like a musician at the time? Like, when did you start picking up an instrument? Because you're obviously a fan of music, right? You grew up in the 90s. You mentioned Faith No More and all the amazing bands in the 90s that I still love and listen to all the time.
Yeah, Monster Magnet.
Oh, fuck yeah. So
Dude,
were you a musician at the time?
My favorite band.
Really?
You know what?
That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. I love those guys.
Fuck yeah.
But no, I started out on the drums in high school, probably when I was about 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always kind of was eyeing the bass, but I was into the drums at that time. And then when I first moved here, I was still into the drums, and that's what I was doing. I moved in with these dudes, and they had like a little jam room downstairs in the basement. And I started playing drums. I got some lessons from a few people from bands. A guy from Rob that was in Raging Slap back in the day. Like,
Dude,
this
Raging
is like
Slap was
20.
cool as shit too.
I love Raging Slap.
Fuck
yeah, man.
And,
they were like
Dan Carey, and so they were like, "Oh yeah, you're pretty good." And then I was, I started playing, and then I
who'd you say? Did you say Danny Carey?
Yeah.
From Tool?
Yeah.
He gave you drum lessons.
Yeah. We're old friends.
That's fucking so dope. I mean,
He's
can
a cool
you imagine?
Dude, man.
Can you imagine? It's like my son. I have a 14-year-old. He takes guitar lessons and he's super into it. And as a dad, I'm like, out of any sport, anything you can do, the fact that you're playing guitar and loving it is like proud dad moment. But it's like, imagine being a drummer and it's like, oh, who you taking drum lessons for? Oh, the dude from Raging Slab and Danny Carey from Tool. It's no big deal. Just like the greatest fucking drummer of all time.
It was like we were all hanging out, and it's like the
what era of Tool was that then? What record did they have out then? Were they super?
I don't know. This must have been like 93, 94.
So Opiate, and then
when they were super badass.
Yeah,
93. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna ask the Oracle.
So you were a drummer. That had to have been inspiring. Speaking of Raging Slabs, I saw Raging Slab open up for Lenny Kravitz, I believe, which is a total fucking crazy.
That's a great show. I love Lenny
Kravitz.
Dude,
it was fucking awesome. And I was like, Raging Slab was kick ass. So their drummer and Danny Carey from Tool started teaching you how to play drums. So Opiate Undertow is out, and you just fall in love with music. Because you're a fan of music, obviously.
I was in love with music prior. My parents.
How'd you meet Danny Carey?
Through Pygmy Love Circus. Remember them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was friends with Pygmy Love Circus when they toured in Europe. I met with those guys.
He played in that band, absolutely.
And he played drums in Pygmy, and that's how I met Danny. And so I was kind of in that whole Hollywood scene with those guys.
Dope.
And I think, actually, I know, like, this is before Tool. This is when Tool was just signed, but they weren't even like big yet.
Tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
But it was
that's
just
fucking
like
awesome.
That's the people we all hung out with. It wasn't like this. Whoa,
that's what it is, man. It's crazy. We're it's the scene or whatever. The people are like
cool
like-minded. Yeah, man. Like people that are like-minded. I mean, same thing happened out here in the
other,
desert. Yeah, there was an era of like rad creativity. And a lot of rad shit came out of here. It's one of those, and everybody knows everybody, and it's cool.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's still, but not.
I miss those days.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we can get it back in some other shape or form.
Totally. Like right now, this is how we got to create a scene until shit wakes up, opens up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the 90s, dude, it's like that's when Lollapalooza
the 90s
was fucking awesome. It's like
all these kids are gonna go, hey man, these fucking people are talking
30 years ago.
These people are talking about the 90s. Who in the fucking dinosaurs?
Yeah, but the 80s.
We saw all the rad shit.
But it's part of the history of where we're at. You have Rage Against the Machine and Tool, and like you're saying, like L7, Alice in Chains, and Primus, and Arrested Development, and they would put these Lollapaloozas together. And myself, as a music fan, would go. There was multi-genre bands. Like I remember seeing, like I was in Indianapolis by '93, and it's like Primus, Arrested Development, Rage, Alice in Chains, and my mind was open to
That's dope.
hip hop shit and metal.
But see,
And-
that's how Europe is to a point too. There's like festivals that's all kinds of crazy shit, and it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, and it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pink
I used to
pop
go
or
to all
this
the
and that.
festivals.
There's, there's just the metal ones and the rock ones and
Yeah.
stoner or whatever. But like, there's, like pink pop or something, or there's a million.
And then there's Prickle Pop, which
Prickle pop, yeah, where
that
it's
in Belgium?
everybody. I did a couple of those with like when I was working
that was a
with
good one.
with Limp Bizkit, man. We did pink pop, and it's like more mainstream stuff, but this huge festival. But then like over here in this big ass tent is Limp Bizkit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because over there they still are huge or do really well. It's cool. Nobody gives
Oh
a
yeah,
shit
I mean
here.
we played with
but
them 5
here-
years ago. Limp
Yeah,
Bizkit, and they were
yeah,
still doing great.
I loved working
you
for
know?
them. I had a fucking blast. It was awesome. Everybody's cool. Wes is fucking awesome. I'm gonna get Wes on here.
Was Royal your tour manager?
No, dude, I did
Yeah.
it with Guy Sykes. Guy motherfucking Sykes.
Yeah, good.
So
Like
yeah,
him
that was
too.
awesome. For everybody
I
out
like,
there
I like most of the tour managers. I
who
always get
doesn't
along
know
with
who
them.
Guy Sykes is, he was like Pantera's
Yeah.
tour manager. But I mean, he just knew them since day one, friends, and he was the guitar tech and the bass tech, and he was the stage manager. And like he just did every job, and then he was their tour manager. But he's He's like one of the best in the biz. But did Pantera forever. I worked with him with Limp Bizkit. He does Diane Word and shit now, and like Volbeat. I worked with him in Godsmack. He did Godsmack for a while too. He's cool as shit. Like,
So once
He's
you
a good
get into
dude.
the circle of what you do, Arthur, it's like a lot of these guys will go from band to band, and you're in
Yeah,
this
man,
whole
it's-
circle of shit, and a
it's-
lot of these people are out of work right now.
everybody's out of work. 100%.
So it's
Everybody
fucking
there
terrible.
is.
Yeah, I'm
You
in
know
the
what I mean?
closet. Hello.
It's our industry for us as musicians and playing and touring that we do, Nadia. And then I could say for me too, I work in the production side when I'm not doing that. Dude, everybody, there's nothing happening. Everybody is out of work.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. It's trickling with, say these drive-in shows or these webcasts. Like I had a lot of people that I know work for big production companies, and that's what instantly they were smart and changed their shit to like live stream. They set up a stage in their shop,
Sure.
full audio, full production. They make it sound rad, so when you stream, it's like a real show, not just like everybody that was in their fucking bathroom or fucking whatever bedroom, which is cool. Do that too, people. Don't get mad. But if you're gonna do it right. Like it's a fucking show. So.
Right. I went to one of those
Everybody.
live streams from Bush, and they had a really nice production in the valley. They rented a stage, and it looked really good.
Yeah.
It was
the only
just
thing
like
I don't
a,
like about
like
the
a live rehearsal.
yes, the
Or
only thing I
like
don't
the
like about the
down show.
drive-through.
The down
I
show,
didn't- I
Arthur.
didn't-
Yes.
The-
Yeah, absolutely. Do it right. Do it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely got to do it. The first band that I saw do it right when it happened was fucking Dropkick Murphys. They did a live stream thing, production, filmed it right, multiple angles. Because to make it interesting, because everybody's so fast food for the brain, you have to have like five cameras, man. And you got to keep switching. Because when it's just like this
Right.
for, an hour, you're like, whatever, People are
Like
like,
for example, if you were in a band with Nadia, I would not want to just see Arthur's bearded
Dr.
face on the
Fungus.
screen.
yeah, totally. You want to see Nadia fucking
Oh,
whipping
which
her
dude,
head and shit and all that.
your
I still
stage
have neck
presence.
pain from it.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure you do. You probably have arthritis. So I want to ask you, Nadia, you played drums, but what
Yeah.
made you want to skip from drums to bass?
Yeah, so I played drums. I got my first.
Because apparently Danny Carey
solo
wasn't a good enough teacher for you to continue playing drums. It's Danny Carey's fault.
Either that or she was like, I fucking suck, this guy.
No, I was actually.
She was like, I don't want to carry all this shit around.
well, that's yeah. I
Yeah,
don't like to
dude,
carry
drums is a
things,
ton of
but-
shit. all
But,
the
so
time.
you're a pretty good drummer, Nadia.
I wouldn't say pretty good. I think I obviously have a good tempo and I had a
Yes.
good feel for it.
Mhm.
But I ended up playing with some local people, and then I just kind of got tired of listening to what they were writing.
Mhm.
And I was like, I gotta play drums to this. Like, can we speed this shit up? So I was just going faster, like I'm fucking bored,
That's what
Yeah.
I do.
And I was like, you know what? I
Wait,
think
no,
I
I
gotta
don't.
like switch instruments so I can write shit.
You
because
can
this
write
is
all the riffs.
boring.
Here's the riffs, man. Just play what I hear in my head.
Exactly.
Thanks. And then you
Yeah,
got
and
that
then
problem.
somebody gave me a bass, and then I started playing bass, and then I decided to join this girl band in Hollywood, and we played pretty much everywhere, from the Key Club to
Who was that? What band was that?
Dragonfly, Tail.
Tail, of course. Why is it always a name that's some kind of beaver or
Well, listen,
or hole?
we didn't come up with that
hole.
name. We didn't
What's
come
the
up
other
with
one?
that name. A
Kitty.
man
Remember
did.
Kitty? You
Yeah.
guys probably toured with Kitty.
I think we may have played a couple of festivals together, but we didn't do a full-on tour. But you know who gave us that name Tail? It was Phil Caivano from Monster Magnet, guitar player.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we used to hang out.
Of course, because the
and,
dude, he's all Tail.
Yeah. I was
It
like,
might have
"Why
been
don't you call it
because-
Granny?" He goes, "Call it Tail." And then I would play at Bar Deluxe and, you know, all those places back in the day.
Tail. So it was
Dude.
named after you then.
I don't know. We all had tails.
Oh yeah, y'all saw its tail.
Was there ever like if someone goes to YouTube right now, could you see a
I'm gonna go
live
right
show
now.
from
I'm
Tail?
gonna look it up right now. Tail.
No.
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 I mean, this is like the mid-90s. This must have
Yeah.
been like 95.
Somebody
or
had
something, you
a
know?
video recorder machine.
I mean, I have some. I might have
Tail.
some VHS tapes still. You know.
Yeah,
from-
let's transfer that shit down.
What was that place called? The Garage. That
The
was
Garage
on
was
Virgil.
dope. We
Yeah,
played there with
that was
Unita.
awesome.
Dude, that place was great.
Yeah, and
We
that little,
played-
like, upstairs, like
Unita played the
after
very
party.
last show they ever had. Like we played the show, it was rad. It was all fucking solid. Paul was there and came out and
Yeah.
Crown, and it was the last show. It had that cool little bar. Dude, that place was dope. Now it's
Yeah, I love
now it's
that
like a
place.
club. It's a club.
I think they have like comedy shows there or something like that. I don't even know.
It's
But,
they gentrified it into some. I don't see any Tail live.
But so
That
you have so
No.
there might be some VHS footage that could surface one day. So Tail,
Yeah.
how long are you in Tail before you can move on to your next project?
What was the name of the band? Tail.
Yeah, TAIL.
I love it.
I was in Tail. I was in Tail. for
Right?
about,
Isn't
like,
that- isn't that
maybe
the
like
greatest?
a year and a half, 2 years. I don't know.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that was fun. You know, the girls were great. And then I just kind of wanted to like take music more seriously. And you know, and then the girls kind of dropped off here and there. Some of them got busy dating or doing this and that. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to play with anyone that's better than me so I can get better and
Smart.
move on to the next thing.
Smart.
And now my guitar player, my female guitar player at the time, she was friends with Meigs from Cold Chamber.
Oh,
And
nice.
she used to have after parties in her loft up on Cherokee or something. So I used to see him, and back in those days, he was wearing like this white straight jacket, you know, like I was always like, who the fuck is this dude in a straight jacket?
Nice.
You know?
Like
I was
tied
like,
up or just
whatever.
he had his
Like a
hands loose.
Hollywood
or
weirdo.
Was he tied? Was it on tied up or he had it like loose?
Yeah,
and-
I was just like, oh, whatever. And then I remember her and we went to Berlin, and she was like, oh, you know, that guy that always comes to my parties, Meeks, he's my friend. Like their band is playing with Ozzy, Cold Chamber. And I'm like, I don't fucking know this band, you know? And so we went to their show. We didn't get backstage, but you know, anyway, we saw the show and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm actually, we maybe
course.
just saw the last song. I don't even, because they weren't like on my register at that time, because I was more like hanging out in like East Hollywood, Silver Lake, the Garage, like that whole vibe, garage rock, you know, like stoner rock type shit. So I wasn't really like
The
in
good shit,
whiskey-
Artie.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm familiar with the good shit.
I wasn't really in the.
That's where I get my riffs. The
whiskey,
good shit.
you know, Sunset Strip scene. I mean, I started out there because of my fake ID, you know, because nobody would let me in but the Rainbow. But as soon as I could go, I was like not in that side of the town at all, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, so anyway, so then that's how I saw Meeks the first time. I didn't really register, and I had some friend that ended up calling me, and she goes, hey, my boyfriend, he's looking for a bass player for his band. I know you can do it. I've seen you play, blah, blah. And it turned out to be Meeks. So a friend of mine
Nice.
was now the girlfriend of his, and that's kind of how we got together. And then he dropped off a CD with me, and I listened to it.
And that was Cold Chamber.
That was Cold Chamber, yeah.
Nice.
So they were on a major label looking for a bass player. Their
They were on
original bass
Roadrunner.
player, yeah, Raina, I believe was her name. So she
Mhm.
bailed. Now during
was
this time,
pregnant.
were you in the band Tail at this time, or were you just like in a period of not being in any band?
No, I was not in the band.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, Tail had broken up. Like we tried to keep it together. It didn't work out. And that's when I was just jamming with people to get better myself, you know?
Now I want to ask you: did anyone from Tail end up becoming big time musicians in other bands, or did they just do their
or
own?
was it the porn industry?
Well, my guitar player Lisa, she ended up playing a few shows with Courtney Love on her solo project. So she did.
She was in Tail.
She was in
Lisa.
Tail. Yeah,
I know Lisa.
yeah.
Holy shit.
So what bands were
I
you in?
remember
Lisa?
that. I remember
I was in
that.
Tail, and then I was in a band called Hole.
Dude, the story of that
It
though
wasn't Hole. It
is
was Courtney
very
Okay, cool.
the story of that scenario is very interesting too. I don't know, maybe we'll tell that or not, but I remember that whole era when she got into the Courtney Love thing and all that stuff.
Well,
That's when I was like always in LA and blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
from Martina and everybody too. Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
we were all always.
That was my
hanging out.
spot. That's what I lived
Yeah,
out here,
yeah.
but I'm like, all my friends are out there. And it was cool to
Yeah.
get out of the desk, go do that, see you guys, hang out, come home, chill, get back to work.
So did you rehearse? Like, so did you have to try out and rehearse for Cold Chamber the gig?
Well, yeah, Meeks dropped off the CD, and for me that style was very different because I
You're
was
like, what the
playing more
fuck is
stoner
this?
rock. I was like 70s stoner rock was always more my thing, but I was like, cool. Well, this is definitely more professional than what I'm doing. So I buckled down and I learned the few songs that they told me to learn, and I went into I think it was Third Encore was the audition.
Nice.
When I went in there and we played like 3-4 songs. My drummer Mikey at the time wasn't even living in LA. He was living in Albany, New York, right?
Yeah.
Albany.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so he wasn't there for it, but his brother Travis came down, who's also a drummer. So I auditioned with Travis on drums, and that went fine. And then I went in a few days later and played a few more songs, and apparently that went fine too.
Were you slamming? Were you fucking spinning your head and doing your shit? You're just rocking?
Listen, I just showed up in my baseball pants and my fucking boots, and
Nice.
I just played those songs. And
so the music, it wasn't like a cheesy scenario where it's like this beautiful woman in this leather outfit is coming in. Oh, we want the visual. We don't care about her musicianship. It was literally like you came in there, you fucking took it seriously, and you were fucking laying it down badass. And they're like, yeah, this chick is the fucking one.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. I was 24 at the time.
That's fucking sweet.
That's dope, man.
But yeah,
that's
I mean,
cool shit.
I took it seriously. I learned the stuff,
Yeah, right.
When I do stuff, I do take it very seriously, like if I have an actual plan and a goal. And so I went in twice, and then I didn't hear anything, and that's like such a LA thing. It's like nobody, all of a sudden it's like crickets.
Yeah.
And so then I had a ticket booked to Europe because my grandmother was very sick at the time. And I was going to leave, and I figured, I didn't hear from anybody. So I guess they probably picked someone else. But I figured I should just call up Sharon's office and make sure, because I'm flying tomorrow, So I called up the office. And I was like, listen, I guess it didn't work out, but I just want to make sure because I'm leaving tomorrow. And she goes, oh, no. She's like, you're the one. You got it. And I'm like, what? And
Where's
I'm
my
like,
fucking call?
I was like, nobody told me. I'm like here, like about ready to pack, But
where were you going?
I was going to Europe, to Germany. Yeah, my grandmother was really sick. Yeah.
Oh, copy that.
Yeah. So, but so I canceled the trip and I stayed home instead and learned the 2 records that I had to learn and just played every day for like a month, and then rehearsal started and went out on the road.
Nice. How was your grandmother? Did she end up?
But she died.
Okay?
That sucks.
See, that's the thing,
this
people.
Is like 20-something years ago.
All you musicians out there, like these are the things that happen because you are a musician. That's a lot of people forget, and that's why a lot of people can't handle the road or can't handle the biz because, like, you're gonna miss shit like that. Like,
absolutely.
You did what you had to do to take your shit to the next level. And it's like those sacrifices where you didn't go to Europe and see your grandmother and she died. And that sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she,
You're
you
not
know,
going to
she
see babies
basically,
born. You're
yeah,
not
she
going
died
to
on like pretty much the first week of touring for me, you know, and I
yeah,
couldn't
you
go
know,
to
I didn't
the
go.
funeral either.
I was in Europe. I didn't go to my sister's wedding. You know, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, man, that's what I got to do. You know.
Did
And
you
I,
realize how big of a band at the time that Cold Chamber was? Like you got this Migs dude, mutual friend, you try out, and
That's
then
when they were making their mark.
but so you get on the road, are you then like, holy shit, I'm this chick from Europe that's like fucking living the dream. Was there
yeah, I
ever a
mean, at the
moment that you were
time,
like, wow, I've done this?
yes and no. I mean, at the time, I wasn't that familiar with Cold Chamber, funny enough, you know, like, um, just because I was hanging out in a completely different scene. And so I never saw them play live except for that one time in Europe where maybe we saw like one song and I don't even remember it. But so I came in with a different headset, I guess, mindset, because I wasn't like a fan and I wasn't really familiar and I didn't know what kind of crowds they would play for. I wasn't afraid of crowds though, because I've always kind of been around that, I guess, lifestyle. How you want
Right.
to call
No,
it?
It's the whole point. Have a
yeah.
crowd.
Right.
Yeah,
We're like,
I'm a
that's
crowd.
crowd. Fuck yeah, it's back. Sold
Give me
out.
that crowd.
Yeah, man.
No, but
That's the dream to have.
I
a
mean, I
crowd.
did know they were signed. Obviously, I knew who Sharon Osbourne was and all that, and I knew it was a professional thing, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, after first rehearsals, it was, you know, it was interesting, and you know, I had to like move at the rehearsal too. It was so funny. I knew I could move, and I knew I would be that way on stage. But you know, in rehearsals, I don't dress up. I don't move in rehearsals unless it's a dress rehearsal right before tour. So you make sure that you know you're loosening
Yeah,
up.
man. You're
But other than
this,
that,
I'm
I'd
gonna
stand
do
and
the
play. I'm
ninja
not going to
kicks.
exert myself. So they were afraid that I wasn't going to move, and then it was, you know, brought to my attention that I had to move in rehearsal because otherwise, you know, I may not have to gig. You know.
See, that's
I
how
just knew
crazy it is too, man. Because that's
I
when,
had to do
like, you
that.
know,
It
there's
was really
management
embarrassing.
and labels and like,
Yeah, we need you
you
to
know,
put this outfit on. No, I hear you because it's like Clutch. I love the band Clutch. Their bass player plays some of the most amazing bass fucking lines ever.
dude, Clutch is
And
the
but
shit.
but that dude just like you see, and I love seeing Clutch live, but he just stands there, doesn't move around. So it's like you are taking this seriously, fucking want to make the songs badass, but they're like, you gotta bring your stage presence fucking up
Right.
a notch to fucking Artie Love Show level.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Nadia's
mean,
right there, man. That's why we're good
Oh,
friends.
I've watched, dude. Trust me, I've seen many
Yeah.
videos of you, and as me as a lover of music, when I go to see a show, I love seeing fucking people get into the fucking music. Now there are exceptions. If I go see Mark Lanigan,
If
for
it's
example,
fake.
if I see Mark Lanigan, one of my favorite singers of all time, and he's standing there like a fucking statue singing the most fucking epic shit ever, I'm like,
I like Jim Morrison.
yeah, but like with your shit, like I love what I see. So you fucking end up
thank you.
just being badass, just taking this whole experience of getting in Cold Chamber and running with it 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, you know, I had that one rehearsal where I had to just show that I could move. And, you know, they had a couple of people from the label there and they were sitting on the couch eating like potato chips, you know.
Fucking the worst.
So then you have to like put
Jump
on the
through
show in
hoops.
front of somebody that's eating potato chip. You like
jump
really
through
kinda,
hoops.
but you know, you got to get over that fear and the possible embarrassment of it because it is a show, you know. And
Yeah, absolutely.
and so I did, and then they were happy, and you know, and then another time at rehearsal, and this is before we went on tour, I ended up like smoking weed or something with Des or somebody, and you know, it sounded really good, and all of a sudden they stopped playing, and I was like, why'd you guys stop playing? And they're like, dude, you stopped like half a song ago. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, because I was so stoned, I forgot. I thought I was
Holy
jamming, and I was just like,
shit.
just going like this. You know?
I don't think I've ever been that stoned. That's
Oh,
some
yeah.
crazy
Oh,
weed
yeah.
you fucking people
Getting
know
all
they got.
paranoid and shit. But yeah, and then we went on tour, and you know, and then we came home really fast because we went on tour with Insane Clown Posse, and they had a
Dude,
problem with us.
That's rad.
And so
They had a
we-
problem with you? Did you get squirted with Fago?
No.
How was that?
ICP
I
would
wanna
shoot
go to
Fago all that.
Yeah.
They would bring like thousands of 2 liters of Fago and shake them up and squirt them all over the crowd. It's like they were trying to be Gwar or something.
Yeah. Hey, it worked. They're fucking huge in that underground shit. They don't need any mainstream.
Yeah.
And they
No, we were doing like a
make bank.
co-headlining time set at the time,
Mhm.
and the thing is, they would close, we would open. It was still a co-headlining set though, but we had pyro, and I think they didn't like the pyro, so I think
Yeah, 'cause you're
they
out
kicked us
showing 'em.
off after and people were leaving before they
That
came on
sucks.
stage, so we got kicked
Well-
off, and it turned into a whole thing on Howard Stern where Sharon went up there and defended us. It was like a thing.
So
Yeah.
can you go on? So you can go online probably and find. So Sharon Osbourne was behind you guys, and she's fucking defending Coal Chamber because you guys got kicked off the tour, more or less for putting on a more badass show. I mean, ICP.
Yeah, pyro, bro.
Yeah, you got pyro, and you have a great show. And
Got
Dez
pyro.
is a fucking great front man. I mean,
Yeah.
when you watch the videos, it's like if you're wanting
Everybody's
to go
killing
see an
it.
energetic
Yeah.
live show, Coal Chamber at the time was kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a chick in the band, which in metal there wasn't a whole lot. Like, so I remember at the time in the 90s, and I don't know what year that there was the band Manhole. So
Yeah,
Manhole
absolutely.
had that chick, and then she ended up doing a band called Tura Satana.
Yeah.
I interviewed her back in the day. Super fucking cool. They were on
She's
tour with like
awesome.
Life of Agony and shit. And then Arthur and I were talking before we went on this podcast. You had that band Drain, and you had a lot of female badass musicians, but it was few and far between, especially in a genre like metal, where it was mostly dominated by male performers. So you got you in this band and Coal Chamber, and you guys are fucking sonically and visually, people are going to be enthralled. Like some people are going to be like, whoa, check out the chick bass player. Oh, check out Dez. Oh, this is fucking awesome. So I think you guys brought to the table something that a lot of bands didn't have at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw Coal Chamber at the Troubadour before you joined.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
It
I
was
never
like
played the
before they
Troubadour.
did. It was '97 because that's when they did Ozfest.
Yeah,
Second
yeah.
stage
I
because
did
John,
99.
my singer in Unita, he was doing his band called Slow Burn at the time, and they were on the second stage. They did like all the bands that night or some shit, and they played the Troubadour. It was a trip because you remember they had the loft.
Oh
I was
yeah.
hanging out in there, and it was cool because it was like Ozzy Osbourne was there. He was sitting there and shit and tired and all this. I'm like, oh fuck, right on, man. Let's go. That's crazy. That's a trip, man.
So you are a fan, obviously. You mentioned Monster Magnet is one of your favorite bands. Like, did you grow up listening to like bands like you said, Soundgarden, Faith No More? Were you into Caius? And then when you met Arthur and he's in Unita with John Garcia from Caius, like, are those some of the bands that you've really kind of explored and dived into?
You know what? I wasn't that familiar with Caius at the time. Sorry, Arthur.
I wasn't in Caius. I don't care.
You know, not so much. I mean, there was some other bands that I think there was a band Nebula, weren't they? Like a
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
you know, and stuff like that.
Eddie Glass, they still play, or they just started playing again.
Oh, really?
How we met is through Paul.
Yeah, I don't even remember the first time that we met.
Dude, we met
I
at
have
Sound
bad memory
City.
sometimes.
Slipknot was doing my band Unita. We were doing our record at Sound City. Everybody go watch the documentary. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Slipknot came in to do Iowa, and then we were there for like another month, like together. And then me and Paul broke down. But I remember first time I met you, came down to the studio,
Right.
Because Slipknot opened up for Cold Chamber on a tour. How crazy is that?
That was a really good tour.
I bet.
Yeah,
That's
because
probably
after
fun
we
as
got
shit.
kicked off that what is it, that ICP tour, or Sharon told us to get off it, or however it was. That's when we went a month later, and we went out headlining, and Machine Head was direct support, I believe, and then it was Slipknot and Amen.
How crazy is that? Oh,
And
Amen was dope.
that was an amazing tour. I mean, we all became friends, you know, we're
Yeah,
still
dude, that was like
friends.
the beginning of like all that shit. You know
Yeah.
what I
And
mean? That was
Slipknot
like the
was like breaking,
beginning.
you know, like they were like outselling
Yeah,
us on merch every night, you know, and then they did
absolutely.
Ozfest after that. And I think that's when it went crazy, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's when it just went.
Yeah.
Went, ba-
Well,
went banana.
Slipknot's a
Wait a minute.
crazy story.
Was that
Go
the
ahead.
time when they were staying at the Houdini mansion?
No, that's after all that. That's way
That was
later.
after.
That's Subliminal Verses.
Oh,
No,
okay.
this is when they were doing Iowa.
Oh, wow.
We were doing our Rick Rubin shit and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
they were
So all
doing
of a sudden,
Iowa.
Slipknot blew the fuck up, basically.
Well, yeah, like weeks after.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
they were
yeah,
already blowing up when they were touring with us.
yeah. I mean, come
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
Especially then when they were just fucking,
Yeah.
fucking insane. Like, I'm very thankful to being a part of that and seeing that when they were like, you know, because it was right after the first record. They were doing Iowa, and that's when me and Paul broke down, and then you know hit me up to tech for him and stuff. Dude, like some of those shows, man, it's crazy shit. Where you know when it's real still, and not because
Yeah.
we're all millionaires. We just got to make these millions, and nobody talks anymore. Or that kind, you know, when you get to that phase of the career where it was
No,
just
it was
like
great.
they were a fucking machine. They were still friends. I mean, they fought whatever like normal brothers do, but like it was just fucking like every night insane, going to war. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy, man. You know, hair standing up, like whoa, this is crazy right now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Nine dudes in their prime, just like ah. It's like goddamn, dude. I would fucking sit
Yeah.
up back there and just laugh, and me and Paul would have a blast, and like. It was just like fuck, dude. I realized it. We're like, dude, I'm seeing this guy as this fucking like.
You're seeing
mo-
history unfold
the
right
moments,
before you, right?
absolutely, the moments where it's like fuck, like crazy. You know what I mean? Like the photo shoot for Rolling Stone that they were on. Finally, you know, they were the cover of Rolling Stone. Like I was standing right behind the guy, and me and Paul were laughing. I made Joey puke and shit because he was all hungover, and we had this joke and whatever, just like crazy shit like that. And then you see it, like, holy shit, that's the fucking cover of Rolling Stone. This is my buddy.
Mhm.
It's fucking amazing. And then you remember the whole building up to like, oh, I got that photo shoot today, and this, da, da, da. And that night before, how we were hanging out partying.
Yeah.
Like you just look at Joey's hair in that. You know, he always has his hair all. You know, perfect. His shit's all fucked
No,
up.
kind of like mine is right now because I just
Ah,
watched it.
this shit's all fucking, you know, he was all hungover. And anyway, man, it's like amazing, crazy times where, yeah, I realized, like, holy shit, this
Mm.
is like, fuck. What
It's
the
a
fuck?
historic time in fucking
Yeah,
music
man.
history. That's fucking awesome. So,
Yeah.
Nadia, so you're playing in Cold Chamber, and then you're on tour for a while, and then does the band just stop at one point? Like you're like, fuck yeah, I'm in the band, we're touring, and then I know there was a period of time where the band kind of broke up, and Devil Driver happened, and then you end up joining the band again to tour years later. So, talk me through how it ended, and then how it started back up again.
All the
Well,
juicy details.
We have a lot of endings and then we have a lot of beginnings.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You know, we
Hey, as
break
long as
up
you can begin
quite a
again.
bit. Exactly. You know, so well, we had an ending 5 years ago, so we're due for another beginning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, originally when I joined the band, I what's the word? I subbed for Reina, right? Because Reina was pregnant at the time,
Yeah.
so which is why she couldn't tour. So I was her replacement for the time being. So I came in knowing that she was going to return, which she did after she had her daughter. She returned for maybe a month or two of touring of that year. Like must have been like 2000 then, because I left in December of '99. I joined in like I don't know the beginning of '99, left at the end, and then they wrote the Dark Days record. And then she came and I guess did the writing part and recorded it. And once she recorded her bass part, she quit the band. So that's how I got back in, and that was 2001 or two. So then Dark Days came out, and I did that entire touring cycle. So basically, I did pretty much the entire touring cycle for Chamber Music, which is the second record, minus the month, 2 month Tattoo of the Earth tour that she came back for. And then I did the entire touring for Dark Days. And then we broke up. And then we had like a 10-year breakup because Des started Devil Driver, and he's obviously done a bunch of records with them and touring. And then we kind of started talking. I believe it was like 2009. And I remember Meeks, Mike, and we were getting together, and Meeks' parents' place here in LA, and we started writing some songs. And then he joined another band, and it kind of fell apart again. And then in 2011, they were like, "Do you want to do these shows in Australia?"
Was that Pinata?
No, that was some other band that he joined. I forgot what their name was. But yeah, anyway, so then that happened, and then what was it, 2011, I think? Yeah, and so they were going to do some touring, like the comeback touring, and that's when I had another band, and I was also going through some like health shit at the time. And so I didn't do that one, and then I came back in 2013 when they were like, "Okay, let's do a record. Do you want to do it?" And
Nice.
then we recorded Rivals, and then we did that in 2014, and then we toured in 2015.
So during the 10 years that you were not active, like Cold Chambers taking a break and Devil Drivers going on, what are you doing in that decade period of time musically?
Well, I did the Roadrunner United thing, right? Were you part of that? You were there.
Who, me? No, I was there. I helped Paul.
You were there.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Who, me? I don't know.
Were you there?
No.
Were you there?
I wasn't signed to
We were
Roadrunner,
all,
sorry.
like, really drunk for like a week. So anybody could have been there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I did that, and I think Martina and I started doing some writing, but we never finished it. We were talking about doing something.
Dr. Fungus, dude, what's up?
So wait a second. So Artie, you and Nadja were talking about doing a project of some sort.
Nadja and Martina from Drain have a band called Dr. Fungus.
Is there any songs that are written?
Eventually, it will all come out, and you will all be fucking blown away.
Cool.
This is a long time. Apparently,
like
a lot of things are
decades in the making.
This is a long time friendship of thing. Yeah. It would be funny because we would always joke around about that because we would always hang out and go to these parties or whatever shows,
right.
And it'd be like, and it's everybody's there's a press there and these photographers, and these news people, and these PR people, So we would always fuck around and be like, yeah, we got a band. It's called Dr. Fungus.
Yeah.
First record's Fungus Among Us. Yeah. See, so. And it even got online and shit, like, the super group with Nadja and Martina and Arthur from called band called Dr. Fungus. So yeah. We got lots of press already, but yeah. I got riffs, man.
I guess in those 10 years, like the Roadrunner, like we were talking about stuff, I started doing t-shirts for a minute, I was selling them to Hot Topics, so I was kind of involved with that. Then I'm not. I'm doing it.
Do you still do that? Do you still do the t-shirt clothing line?
I hadn't done it in a long time and I wasn't feeling it. But then last week, for some reason, I got a boost. I got like a COVID boost and I was like, oh my God. And I designed like 11 shirts and I'm about to release them with this English company. So they'll be out in like a week or two.
So that's good, where will people be able to find your shirts? So are you a graphic artist? Is that what you do? Like you design shit? Besides being a musician, what all are you doing these days?
I guess, I went to art academy, so I guess I'm like, I like painting and shit like that. I did that in Europe, but, I mean, I'm self-taught with everything I do. So I wouldn't say I'm like a graphic artist of, I work, I know this program, I know a little bit of everything and I just kind of make it work,
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Right.
But yeah, I like designing, so I do these shirts and then I do music and, I'm also going to be working on a podcast. That's going to be a video thing. It's, more like a show in the bar and stuff like that. So that's something I'm working on.
So where is back to your clothing company real quick? Cause I'm interested. So you got new t-shirts coming out. Where can people go to find your stuff that are listening to our podcast that are interested in buying some merch?
So it's either my name.com, Peulen.com, or cruelties.com, and they both go to the same place because I'm just making everything merge to one.
Yeah, man. Make it easy. Make it
Cruelties. Simple. So when I went to your name.com, it took me to sonicdominion.com.
Right. That's the podcast I'm working on.
Okay, so you are working on a podcast. So tell me about your podcast and what it is, who are you doing it with, and what is it about?
Yeah. Yeah, that keeps changing, which is why I haven't released it yet, because at first it was going to be a podcast, like kind of like what we're doing right now,
Right.
but it was actually just going to be audio. And so I bought all the stuff for the audio things and I was ready to
Mhm.
go. And I did a few episodes actually with some friends of mine. But then this guy who was a booker at Harvard and Stone, which is a club in Hollywood,
Mhm.
he was like, why don't you do it at my club and like video it here? And I'm like,
That'd
wow,
be a
it's such
great
a,
location, actually.
yeah, and it's such a beautiful place,
Yeah,
and
man.
I was like, whoa, yeah, that's really cool to make it a video thing, but that makes it different because now I have to not just deal with audio, now I got to deal with video, and I'm not
It's
a
a whole
video
nother can
person,
of worms. Yeah.
So then it took me a while to get a team together for the camera crew and stuff. And I found that. And then the minute I found it and I was ready to do it, the guy moved to Scotland. And I'm like,
Nice.
so, one thing works out all of a sudden and then one
Yeah.
thing falls apart again. But I always look at it in life like it's because it's not meant to be yet. It's not the right timing yet.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Timing is everything, man. I feel you on that
Yeah.
too. I've been talking about doing something like this for a long time too. And like, I started, same thing. I started doing it audio. I did a little video and then Matt hit me up. I'm like, you know what, dude? Perfect. It's
Yeah.
join forces. That's great. You know what I mean? And it's fun too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so and that's the thing, and it just keeps changing a little bit. And obviously now I would have a lot of time, but a lot of people are also really still scared to meet up or get together.
Totally.
So you have that challenge to deal with.
Absolutely.
And
So have you
but
done any actual video? So it's going to be filmed video and audio at this
mhm.
place you're talking to us about, but you're having trouble. Like people are like, oh, do I want to go without a mask on to do this show right now? Blah, blah, blah. It's in LA. Have you recorded a bunch that you're stockpiling to then you're going to
I've
eventually release
recorded
them?
no, I've recorded a couple of audio ones that
Mhm.
I should actually probably listen to and go through and see how they still sound like all this time later, and maybe
Right.
make some notes. Um, but I think, I've met some more people that I'm talking to right now, like producers and stuff like that.
Dude, I got all the shit. I'll help you. Let's do it. I got everything.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
got
And
video. I got
it's not
three.
going to be a Harvard and
We
Stone,
can
most
do
likely.
fucking 3 cameras, whatever. I got it all.
Yeah. And it's going to be kind of like the same concept as you guys have, like kind of shoot the
Chill
shit,
out bullshit. Yeah,
but,
totally.
Probably in the bar setting and with some drinking.
Sorry, we don't have a bar. I got a bar in my kitchen. I got a bar
Okay, I'm
counter.
not really drinking right now anyway.
I can give you a drink. I look cool. Look at my shit. I got fucking lights.
Yeah, it looks great.
shit.
Looks
Yeah.
great. But
Matt's
yeah, I
got
really wanted to
posters,
be like
whatever.
people next to each other, like
Some people are freaked out about that and
Yeah.
don't want to do that still, or like say, for you, yeah, like what you're talking about, like the crew, like, what's the deal? Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Or being the guest or whatever. Like my bass player in Unita now, like he did he's got a thing called Diesel Boots where he played on KR something, whatever. Where we had to like, postpone the rehearsal because he's like, you know what, dude, I was just around like 20 people and shit, and like I'm just gonna wait and make sure I'm cool and get tested again, so I'm not, just in
Yeah.
case I don't want to get you guys sick or whatever, and blah blah blah. I'm like, cool, man, totally understandable, man. That's great.
and that's the thing too. Like once you make it a production, then you have all the liabilities that come with it, and people probably want
man.
should get tested and all that stuff.
Or
so
people
that,
showing up, or even actually people showing up, or like, hey
Yeah.
man, so you
Yeah.
gonna give me $500 to do that?
So,
I'm like,
yeah.
what?
It's in the works, but I feel pretty good about it. I'm gonna have a friend of mine who's like a very really good bartender as well. That's super into mixology, so that'll be cool
That's
as well.
dope. People will be into
So
that.
it's
Mix me
gonna
that
be
shit
like a-
drink. Put it in the
Yeah.
So
copper tin.
Sonic Dominion is going to be the name of your show.
Yeah, until I change my mind about that. But for
It's a good
now,
one, though. I like it.
No,
It's kind of dark.
I like
you
it too.
know.
And what else music wise? Like, so right now, obviously you've been in quarantine, not much is going on. Is there any musical projects that people should look out for that you're working on?
no.
None. Well, maybe
She's
the
gonna play on
Fungal-
my solo record. She's gonna play on my solo record, and then that's gonna spark Dr. Fungus. We'll write a couple songs. We'll do a 4-song EP. We'll
Yeah.
send Martina. She'll sing it. Boom, done.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that I've been talking to get together, and maybe there's somebody I'm going to be working with and I'm going to be doing a video with before the end of the year. But I have to say, quite honestly, I don't know how that is for you, Arthur, but a lot of musicians that I know are really not feeling it right now to like write and record music, because it's just kind of like the energy is not really there.
I am not that. I am on
Mhm.
fucking fire and shitting out riffs like crazy. The riff gods are sending me I actually have a refreshed, rekindled fire for fucking domination. Like, this whole thing made me realize how burnt out I was. And I was
Yeah.
burnt out and doing, I do everything. And it got old
Yeah.
doing everything with no fucking help. You know what I mean? And I just, and working for bands or working my
Yeah.
local gig. You know what I mean? Like, the
Yeah.
daily grind, you work, where I enjoyed the stop of everything. And now I'm cool. I'm back. I'm super motivated, but life threw some more heavy shit at me. I take care of my mom full time now, which is fine, but like, I am on fire. So you know what? I'm glad that you're saying these musicians are lazy right now, because when it does open up, I'm gonna be fucking ready.
Yeah, you're
And
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
ready.
shit out fucking
We're
records.
just
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
go
like
on tour,
crawling from under, like,
and I'm gonna fucking take it over. And then
go.
all these other ones that are boo-hoo, like, good, please stay home, be depressed.
But
Yeah.
I can understand what you're
Don't be
saying,
depressed,
Nadia. Like, so there's a lot of people do. It's like, oh man, the political strife and all this crazy shit going on in 2020, it makes me unmotivated to create, right? There are people with that mindset, but there's also like Arthur, and like my mindset is always creating, and I try to stay as positive as possible.
Absolutely.
And Artie and I are having a fucking blast
Totally.
doing this shit and just having fun. And man, it's life is crazy right now, and if we can all put a smile on somebody's face, it's like, fuck yeah,
Absolutely.
and have fun. And music
I'm
is a
having
beautiful
fun.
thing. Oh, fuck
I'm
yeah.
having fun right now too.
We're all entertaining people. This is
Yeah.
great, man. And it's a positive thing. It's you know what I mean? Everybody can have their own fucking opinion on whatever the fuck's going on. That's okay, man. Like,
Yeah.
hey, everybody can have an opinion. You don't have to hate each other, kill each other because they have a different opinion. It's okay. That's why
Well,
we live
and
here.
you should respect people's different opinions.
Absolutely.
because
And
that's
just be
how
cool
you
and be
can
like, hey,
learn,
you know what? That's
hopefully.
okay, man. You can have that opinion. I have mine. It's all good, man.
And be inspired, Arthur.
I don't think Jesus exists, but it's okay that I think that. And you can think that he does.
Way of life, but it's like,
That's always a good one.
Yeah,
I'll see the comments
for me,
on that
it's like,
one.
Like I think that's great, and I wish I would feel like you. Although I have to say, like, I've had
Are
like
you?
5 months. No,
I'm gonna
not
fucking
about
help
Jesus.
motivate
I'm
you.
talking about.
Oh no, I'm talking about music. Like, I'm gonna help you motivate you. You're gonna come out here. We're gonna fucking jam. We're gonna get you on a song on the solo record. And
But yeah, I mean, like, I just have not been inspired or motivated, because I think we don't know what the future is. There's, it's kind of like this. I can't say that I feel like I'm depressed, but it's just kind of like this subdued kind of like coma.
I think you're not
I don't
alone.
even know what it is, you know?
I had a little bit of that.
And for me, it's like, I'm kind of a loner anyway. I spend most of the time by myself. I live by myself. I enjoy that, but I like to get my fix. So I like going out and getting the energy and like watching people and having that vibe. And then I go home and create from that. It's almost like that gives me a boost. So now that I can't really have
You're
that.
a Capricorn,
I'm like,
right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
We're Capricorn
yeah,
siblings.
Yeah. I like
What
to
are
get
you?
out.
What are you?
Me?
Matt.
Oh,
No, I know
Matt.
what you are.
I'm an Aries.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Yeah, I'm an Aries. So I'm all about creating, but I do want to say, for the people that are listening, I know 2020 is crazy, but it is pretty damn inspiring that you had dreams of coming over to the United States as this young chick who came to LA. You have a crazy story. Your mom won this car. You got this money. You came over here.
That's fucking crazy.
And then
there's more to it. It's so much crazier, but that's a long.
But
that takes
you end up
hours.
becoming in a band on Roadrunner Records and touring the world, and you're still living in Los Angeles 26 years later. And although that it's full of homeless people and craziness in 2020,
it's a great summary.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you are still there. You're not running away from the shit. You're embracing it, and we're all going to get through this, whether it's, as Arthur said earlier, all of 2021, whatever. You will be back doing music. You got Sonic Dominion, your podcast that you're going to be doing, possibly doing the Dr. Fungus Brothers, whatever the fuck it is. with
Dr.
Artie.
Fungus.
Fungus
Just
Brothers.
Dr. Fungus, bro. Dr. Fungus.
Yeah.
But Nadia, it's
Martin doesn't
been
want any extra brothers around. He only wants the chicks.
Yeah, man. What, Nadia and Martina? Have you seen
Yeah,
them?
he's like, I don't want no brothers.
Fucking
I want
kidding
chicks.
me?
so Arthur.
Whatever.
Did you have any last questions for Nadia? Any crazy-
We always do a tour story. We didn't do the tour story, so we got to do a tour story. What's a tour story?
Oh, hold on. Can we talk about the thing, the night we were going to tap into that earlier? It's a short one anyway.
Oh,
When-
100%.
Oh,
Talking about
the
cult.
House of Blues? The House of Blues? Okay, it's kind
Yeah.
of a tour story. Okay, so I'll start it.
You'll know it better than me.
So yeah, well, I got my version. So the Cult, one of my all-time favorite bands. Nadia loves the Cult too as well. I go see the Cult, and I forget even how I got passes, I think from John Tempesta, somebody, I don't know. I had backstage passes, whatever. House of Blues in Hollywood, you know, when it was still there and like rad shows were there. And I was like, fuck yeah, the Cult, because I love the fucking Cult, dude. That's like one of my, you need it is me and John's Cult. That's what you need is.
Yeah.
That's where we bonded and we're like, it's fucking our version. Like John was my Ian, like totally, you know what I mean? Like it was that nerdy for, I'm just like, fuck yeah. Anyway, so I'm at the show and like, you know, we're hanging out. I think I was talking to Tempesta. Yeah, he was hanging out, and it was on that back patio by the door that goes backstage and all that. So I'm hanging out back there, and I'm talking. I forgot who I was talking to, and then like this car rolls up, and I'm like, oh, watch this, and like 5-6 chicks jump out. I'm like, yeah, some of the one of the band guys has his babe show up. Watch this. Yeah, this is a what do I call him?
The hooker, something like a
Oh
hooker.
no! Oh, old pros.
Old pros, yes.
Old pros. Me and my buddy when I was working Godsmack, Shane. You know Shane? I think you know Shane. That's what we would call like the groupies, whatever, the super fans, like old pros, because especially Godsmack crowd, they're like, you know, probably in their 40s and shit. Anyway, so I'm like, that was my always to whoever the girls go, oh, old pros. Like, oh, here comes the old pros, and I look. And these like 5 chicks walk out all super hot, and they're all laughing. Walking up. And I see the bass player from the Cult, like he walks out because he was talking.
Was it
yeah,
Chris?
it was Chris. Yeah, Chris Wiseman, right? And then he walks out, and he's got a bunch of passes. I'm like, see what I tell you? There's a bass player. There's the old pros. And I'm looking. I'm like, is that chick looks familiar? Is that Nadia? What the fuck? I ran over there. Nada, you're with the old pros, man? What the fuck is going on? What are you doing? She's like, I know, but I wanted to go to the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, come with me. She's like, and like the chicks that go with the bass player, you know what I mean? It's all the old pros. It's all the Tonic Katanes and shit.
Yeah, Tony could sing this.
Tony! And I'm like, Nadia, come on, come with me. Let's go talk to John or fucking, oh my God, I can't remember. I'm losing my mind. Big Dave, he was there hanging out. I'm like, come on, what are you doing with the old pros? What the fuck's wrong with you? She's like, I don't know, man. I'm like,
The old
but I want to go to the
pros.
show, but I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I should go with these chicks. Oh shit. I'm like, come on, what the fuck are you doing?
I know it was kind of weird. Like I just, I ended up before the show.
So who knew the bass player? One of the old pros?
Yeah, I didn't even know these chicks. I just went with my friend Christina to the Poly Hotel or whatever it's called. And we were there, and it was like a bunch of chicks hanging out. Some dude was like smoking crack, and I was like, "Whoa!" I haven't seen that like in a long time. Like I was like, "All right, far out." And they're like, "Okay, let's all go." And I guess it's the dude with the crack that had the tickets or something.
Shut
like
the
that.
fuck up!
And I was like,
I didn't know that.
I didn't really want to walk, but I was like, oh, fine, I'm going to go to the show. I'll just walk up, and then you're like, what are you doing with the old pros?
Like right there, like as soon as you get out of the car, I'm like, oh, here's the old pros. I'm like, what? Was that Nadia?
Yeah.
Nadia, what the fuck you doing? You're with the old pros.
I always find like the strangest situations to be in, but I
That's
love
insane.
That.
I thought you knew them, so you're just hanging out.
No,
and
I didn't really know them.
Show.
I mean, I ended up in a hotel. I didn't know the person there, but somehow my friend did, and I ended up there. Dude was smoking crack.
That's
Let's
even
go
better.
To the show. Cool.
Wow.
And I'm always kind of spontaneous in that sense. I like crazy, weird shit.
Absolutely.
So. And if you see me go out, I'm usually also by myself, and then I just kind of get into weird situations, and it's always good for stories later.
That's like me, ditto. Capricorns, come on.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. I didn't know that. That's so crazy. That's even better.
Awesome.
That's like even better than the showing up with the old pros.
Yeah, I find myself in weird situations all the time. It's like, how the fuck did I get here? But cool. You know?
Oh my! I know. I was like, Nadia, shit. I hadn't seen you. I'm like, hi, what are you doing? Like, holy fuck.
Rock and roll.
But that's
But,
kind
you
of how
know-
your whole life.
She's like, I
has
don't even know
been.
these people.
Like your whole life, it seems like it's been a weird situation. Getting in Cold Chamber after the band Tail, and the whole everything that
Yeah.
you've done now has become. You look back and you're like, holy fuck! Like all these crazy fucking circumstances aligned in my life to bring me to where I am fucking right now, talking to two fucking bearded guys on a podcast.
No, but it's
Right.
true. But I think that's how it is for everything in life, right? It's like everybody has their own story, and at the end of our lives, we're probably going to look back and see like, oh wow, like that led up to this, and everything is going to be perfect connecting dots, And yeah, absolutely, that's how I feel. The way I grew up was, sometimes challenging. I grew up in, not the best neighborhoods. My dad was somewhat of a criminal, and it just, kind of set me up for the gypsy lifestyle, which set me up for touring. And
Yeah.
that's why I love touring. I'm a total like road person, and it's not for a lot of people, and it's also not for a lot of females. Females sometimes tend to have a harder time being out on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much
It's,
anymore, but back in the day, for sure. Crying for me, it's like, oh,
not
let's
for
keep
everybody.
going,
Right.
But and then the whole LA thing. I mean, I moved here because I fell in love with the city, and I moved here to party, and that's what I did for many years.
Woo!
I didn't move here with the mindset of like I'm gonna become a rock star or a musician or anything. I came here to party, and I really believe that moving here for the right reasons, because I fell in love with this place. I feel like the city took care of me in return, and I feel the city is still taking care of me, even though
Yeah,
we're in
you have a
weird
very good story,
situation right
man.
now.
Well, 26 years later, yeah, that's the beauty of it, because a lot of people, I think, move to a place with these expectations of, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to be like Axl Rose, go from wherever. But you move for the correct reasons, and the planets aligned.
Absolutely.
You weren't like trying to like bro down with people to fucking get in the scene. You were just Nadia as a fan of music, and then the rest is history. And I think you have a beautiful future and just a fucking great timeline of your life. And I can't wait to see what you do with your podcast and your clothing line and everywhere else. So on social media platforms, where can people find you? Just at Nadja Peulen, your name?
Yeah. On Instagram, it's that, and on Twitter, and then Facebook, it's official Nadja Peulen.
Right on.
Because somehow myself wasn't available anymore.
Right. Yeah, totally. Gotta add official. That's all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank
But
you
yeah,
so much,
it's-
Artie. This has been a fucking pleasure.
Oh man,
know?
this was awesome.
Yeah,
Nadia, thank you so much, man.
No, thank you guys. I mean, that was good. It kind of made me feel like I had something to do for once.
Well,
you know?
yeah, and
Right? Let's do
I'm-
stuff.
and hopefully, like people, like not only you, Nadia, after this, like lighting the fire up your ass to create again and be inspired, and just people listening to this shit, man, that might be like fucking bummed or down because it's 2020. Dude, life is not fucking ended. Shit will return, and everyone, when this shit does return, you guys need to go out to shows.
Yeah,
you,
buddy.
you need to fucking buy merchandise. You need to buy records, and every damn band that plays should be fucking packed. Because I know for damn well all
if
the
they're
shows.
good.
Yeah, but all the fucking
Not just
shows
every
that-
band.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
make
but
sure they're good bands.
yes, that's true. But not
Practice, people. Practice.
Practice. Thank
Don't
you guys.
don't rely on the technology to auto tune you and
Fuck.
drum
no.
magog and.
Oh, we need
fucking
some
Beat
like real rock
Detective.
and roll. I mean, it's been
Yeah,
very
baby.
boring,
I'm bringing
you
some.
know?
I'm bringing some real rock and roll, man.
I mean, Artie
Absolutely.
brings the rock and roll. He might have a fake beard he bought at the Halloween store, but
Totally.
he brings the riffs. But thank you guys
right
very
on.
much. We will see you fucking next time. And
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Come on
you
now.
will.
we love you all.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Be sure to subscribe. Ring the bell if you like for notifications. We got all kinds of good stuff coming to you, man. Artists, this, that, everything under the sun, man. We appreciate you. Have a great day. We love you all. Cheers.